singles here, and we'll see if that definitely plays out here. But yes, we're going to get right into this. Lores versus Prplexity as we get into small Brawlhalla here.
Now we're seeing a legend that we rarely see on the tournament stage, and that is definitely not the Kaya, of course. We are talking about the Ember coming out from Prplexity. Gonna have a very, very, very strong signature kit as well. I'm really looking for that neutral sig coming out from the bow. That bird comes out so quickly. Once thought to be one of the best signatures in the game at one point in Brawlhalla Esports.
I mean, definitely some, I think, very iconic signatures too. I mean, just a plethora of animals coming out here. But we'll definitely see how this continues to play out here. Right now, we do have Lores kind of falling behind here a little bit. Prplexity makes their mark and sets the tone as they take the first stock here in game one.
Yeah, he's opening up game one really strong here. And now that you brought up those animals, we're kind of getting animals v animals because Kaya has her own set of animals in her signatures, but they're like made of snow. I don't know if they're like spirit animals
like
or
elementals at that point.
So it's like IRL animals versus like spirit-ish animals, and so far the IRL animals are coming out on top until Lores gets the evener there. He does have about 50 damage on this stock. Now we are here on small Brawlhalla, so we could see those stocks flying pretty quickly, which is something a Kaya player does not want. One of the reasons you pick Kaya, there are many of course, but one of them is she has solid defense, very solid defense.
Yeah. It's crazy because I feel like we just haven't seen a lot of the animals either, so. But either
yeah,
way.
He's been kind of staying away from the signature kit. Now, of course, it did get some nerfs right after the World Championship. Even Impala acknowledged him, but still said the signature kit is still very strong.
Yes.
We may see that once Lores gets a little bit more comfortable. He is very far behind here. Doesn't want to risk whiffing a signature and then all of a sudden getting punished with a signature from Prplexity and losing the second stock.
Man, I really got hand to Prplexity. They're doing an amazing job controlling the pace here. And that bow is putting in a lot of work, but
neutral air.
Yeah, we see Lores coming in and starting to put down some solid damage, but obviously not enough.
That neutral air grabbing off the top. You saw how high Prplexity picked it up. He chased into the air. There's a side signature. Going to be a whiff, but because it had so much movement on it, it ended up going so far past Prplexity that he couldn't find the possible. Oh, he even backed away from that one. I thought the lingering frames were going to get him there, but not quite.
Oh man, Prplexity's movement has just been so good too. Really taking their time, right? Not investing in anything that's moderately unsafe. Oh, but that was big though. Great pickup from Lores, finding a way to even things up here. Just a little bit in the yellow, looking like some white American cheese.
Oh, I got some white American cheese in my fridge at home. Ooh.
Ooh, you gonna make a sandwich?
Some mayonnaise, a little bit of mustard, a little bit of buffalo chicken on there.
Okay, I was gonna say, are you just gonna put sauce and cheese? Like, where's the meat?
And then some little banana peppers on top. Ooh, getting me all excited.
Oh man, but either way, we're gonna get back to this game here because these two are absolutely cooking each other as well. Final stock situation, very even across the board.
Just the neutral light coming out. The recovery did not make contact with Lores. Man, really, yeah, you said big ups to Prplexity for his performance so far. Absolutely. We're kind of waiting for Lores to kind of pop off because he isn't just a 2v2 player. He also is a very strong 1v1 player as well. That's really where he kind of first broke out onto the scene on our eyes. The dodge up gives him enough vertical that he can hold to the left and get over in time, going with that kind of higher movement speed that translates into the higher in-air movement speed as well, coming out from the Ember so he can drift. But Lores is going to sneak that one out despite being at a deficit most of that game.
I mean, I think we've had 3 South American players on stream so far, and all of them have just pretty much been dominant. Yeah, so just kind of continuing the trend here. Lores saying, listen, I'm not going to be the one that ends up looking foolish on stream, but we cannot take Prplexity out of this quite yet. It was just 1 game loss, and it was very even across the board. However, there were a couple of, I would say, suspect scenarios where he's kind of like, yeah, I feel like you could have clutched that one out. But maybe, you know, nerves are coming into play here. Maybe the hat is just keeping too much of that heat on you, and you're thinking about the heat on your head.
It might be, but man, I do love that Prplexity hat. That's how you can spot him from a mile away, is looking for that hat that I'm guessing, I don't know, is it a strawberry? Is it an apple? I'm not sure what type of fruit it is, but you can spot it from a mile away when you're looking out on the convention floor.
It almost looks like a tomato.
It could be a tomato.
That's very interesting to put a tomato in. But either way,
Oh, he D-sigs, and it ends up dropping because he picked it up like right on the corner, and Prplexity ended up falling out of it. Okay, there's the double side light, and he goes straight into the Sair. I think he didn't want to pick up the D-light because it might have been a weird initiation, kind of like on the left side that we just saw, over right on that corner, so he just went straight for the side air.
Oh, wow! Whoa!
Big Lores! Ah, jump scare! Lores jump scare! Ah!
It's just it was a Lores moment for sure. You're like, look, I'm gonna clutch this one out, put my face, superimpose it into the background.
He became the demon on Demon Island. And he's keeping it going. The juggle game coming through. That 45-degree angle with the neutral light. That is, of course, a very popular initiation angle for Qatar players if we're thinking about that down air that Prplexity just used.
Oh, big pickup. Okay, not going to get the weapon toss up. Ooh, use the gravity cancel. Not going to get that. Oh, you know what? I'll take that. You take a stock. You're already deep in the red as it is. Throw it away. You can have that. Here's a little bit of charity for you.
Prplexity even smiled after that one. He knows that he got kind of owned there, even though the stock ended up falling for Lores. Absolutely worth. Full stock lead here. We could see Lores going up 2-0, and the pressure would really be on Prplexity at that point.
Yep. But we do see these guitars coming out for Prplexity again. This is what really got him started in game one, set him off to a great start. However, just looking, wow, barely whiffing on some of these attacks here. That's so crazy. I mean, maybe it's just Lores really, again, finding that momentum for his own and realizing exactly how Prplexity wants to play.
Yeah, the punish game coming out for Prplexity is just not quite tight enough. We're seeing Lores like whiff a lot of moves, but when you're that far ahead, especially when your opponent is like very much in the red at this point, like they're gonna be scared to initiate because they know that if they whiff, you find a signature, you find a KO option like a D-light side or even just a raw side air, all of a sudden everything's done. So Lores has so much power in his corner here that every time Prplexity wants to commit, that could be the final commitment he gets that game.
Yeah, man, this is definitely crazy too, man. Lores just turning it up to another level. Already played great in game one, right? And then in game two just plays better. You know how terrifying that is? Like when you win, or your opponent wins, and then like they still make adaptations to play better next game. That sucks, dude. It's terrifying. It just hurts the mental a little bit.
I mean, that's like the mark of the best players in the world, and that's why you see like Prplexity, of course, all the credit in the world for even making it this far, but you see a different caliber of player coming out from Lores, someone who can make it into 4th place in tournaments in their region, even on the global stage. Is that adaptation. That's why we do best of 5, Skip.
3, 2, that's a big difference in damage as well. It's 256 to 632. That's absolutely insane, and definitely goes to show exactly how Lores is playing this, right? Staying on top of his opponent, but also staying elusive themselves and just dominant the whole way.
Now, one thing that may be a little bit difficult for Prplexity to do this game, given that he's on Queen Nai, is still be elusive because he does not have the movement speed that he does when he plays Ember. That's sort of the biggest drawback of Queen Nai, is she is sluggish. Now, with Dash, that helps out a little bit. If we were in 2v2s, it helps out a little bit more, but in 1v1s, it's going to be tough, but she makes up for it with very, very high strength.
Yeah, very high strength. I've seen some stocks disappear when they shouldn't have, right? But right there, Prplexity going for the weapon toss, getting a little too aggressive off stage, and that might cost you. Oh, gets the wall touch just barely, being able to survive just a little bit longer here, but now has those Katars in hand, tries to go for the sig, not to be able to get the connection that they were looking for.
And that's a very scary signature to go for because, yes, it has a ton of strength and force on it. Prplexity, able to make it under, kind of switched up there onto Lores. He lost kind of track of what his in-air movement economy was, ended up falling, so we're even on stocks. But if you throw out that neutral signature on the Katars, you're really just kind of hanging up there, asking to be punished if you didn't find a connection. Yep. So committing to the Qatar neutral signature is a big risk.
Both these players working these spears. Yep, the connection right there, going to be able to clean that up very easily. Where are you going? I thought they just weren't not going to get the weapon for a little bit.
Now, I love that we saw that option coming out from Lores to close out that stock as the side light comes out. What do a lot of spear players do after that? Of course, the side light, so that they can then get the D light into the side air. But no, he went for the side light into the chase dodge turnaround recovery, so that hopefully if the dodge came out from Prplexity, the iframes are done by the time the recovery comes out and the KO happens. Now, D-Sig, that one's going to be pretty quick on the Katars.
Yep. Oh, okay. Wow, being able to clean that up as well. Okay, maybe this switch which is what we needed to see from Prplexity.
Absolutely.
It's not looking bad, because every time we've seen a character switch in Game 3 or elimination game here, it just really has not been very pretty. And while the beginning wasn't exactly amazing for Prplexity, you can definitely see they're starting to get this warmed up here a little bit.
He's definitely in a decent spot here. He is about maybe, I'll say, a third, maybe 3/8 of the way through this stock when we factor in the defense that Prplexity has on Queen Nai. But all of a sudden, things might be turning around here. The sweat beats came out, and that's when we knew it was pretty much curtains. Lorez is going to clean that one up, but respect to Prplexity for almost making the Queen Nai work.
Yep, I mean, it's definitely, again, it's tough to just swap characters in the heat of battle like that. But again, probably the best showing we've had so far. But so far as well, the character switches have been 0 for 3 so far. So maybe it's better to stick with what you're already working with. Maybe it's better to switch. We just have not seen that proven quite yet. But either way, fantastic work from Lorez. And honestly, Perplexity's not done yet.
And that's one of the things that I really love about Brawlhalla, given that the light attack kit for weapon to weapon stays the same across characters. So you have players like Boomy who have a large character pool, players like Stingray who have a large character pool as well. And then you have players who are very much legend loyalists, like Cody Travis that we already saw on the Barraza. So we have the spread of people who can easily make that character swap, and then we have the people who are purists.